Hello everyone and welcome to today's video, where today we have, well, we don't really have action figures today. I just want to kind of talk today. For those of you that don't know or haven't heard or don't know who this person is, a very important part of my life and my comic book journey, the YouTube channel Comicstorian, the owner of that channel, Benny, actually passed away recently. You know, a couple days ago it was revealed, and I just wanted to, you know, send out like a dedication to him, and I hope a lot of people do this, because he was very important to the community. In my opinion, he's the sole reason, not the sole reason, but he is a big part. I started collecting physical comics, and I'm as into them and I love them as much as I do now. And if I wasn't, that wouldn't have got into my action figure collecting. I probably wouldn't have started collecting action figures or Lego. I mean, Lego probably, but I probably wouldn't have been collecting like the Marvel and DC Lego. It probably would have been Star Wars stuff or just like Lego City or stuff like that. But you know, he was very big. I've been watching him since basically the beginning. He was a very big part of my journey in the comic book community and all that. And I just wanted to send a dedication out to him, and thoughts and prayers, and some comic book recommendations. I think we should all read some comic books, send dedication to him, and, you know, send his family love that you can send. You know, Comics Explained, everybody like that, send them some love. And he actually has a Discord. They have a Discord set up where you can send your thoughts and prayers and love. And then obviously in the comment sections of his YouTube videos, on his Twitter, Instagram, but just respect his family, I'd say. So I just wanted to say we should read some comics, you know, to commemorate and remember him. Something he loved. And I wouldn't normally do this type of video for pretty much 99% of anything, but he really had a big impact on my life, and his channel had a huge impact on my life. He's basically the only reason I read and love The Ultimate Spider-Man like I do. So I don't own any of those, obviously. Well, not obviously. It's probably not obvious, but I don't own Ultimate Spider-Man. But I've read it enough times through the Marvel app, the Marvel comic app, and then my local library actually has a huge selection of comic books, and I read it there all the way from, you know, the beginning of Peter to Miles. You know, I read it all, so I just wanted to look at some comics. So this is my copy of Infinity War. I bought this or I didn't buy it. My aunt actually bought it for me, and rest in peace to her. She was always very supportive of my hobbies, no matter how nerdy and weird most people would think they were. But this is a classic, you know. If you like Infinity War, the movie, the MCU movie, I recommend reading this. It has a lot more characters in it. You can see there's so many characters on this that were not in the movie. The only two that were in the movie are Spidey and Cap. Those are the only two you could see that were in Infinity War and in Endgame. You've got, or Hawkeye too. I didn't see Hawkeye, but you got Quasar, or not Quasar, Quasar. I don't know how to pronounce it. You know, you've got characters like Quicksilver hiding back there. You got Adam Warlock, which he was just introduced in the MCU. So same with She-Hulk. Got Mr. Fantastic. You got Daredevil, you got Jean Grey, you got Black Knight, Archangel, you got all these characters. So Wolverine obviously is up front and center. Oh, I didn't even show. So yeah. So this is a very good book, and I really recommend it. So none of my comics are really going to be old school comics. I mean, they'll be old school, but they'll be new editions. I got the Under the Red Hood, and yeah, you're going to have to deal with a little glare, but I think you'll be fine with some glare. And this actually came with a copy of the movie, the Under the Red Hood movie, with Jensen Ackles, I believe, plays Red Hood in this. or Batman. He plays one of the two. And I actually bought my copy of Watchmen and my copy of The Killing Joke at the same time. I don't have Watchmen at the moment. I lent it to my cousin, so. But that's also a very good one. And this is the first real introduction of Red Hood. You know, sorry, I got a call in the middle of that. This is his introduction of Red Hood, basically. Not including Hush and stuff like that, because he wasn't really, it was Clayface and Hush, but yeah. And then I have The Killing Joke. This is an iconic Batman story. The animated movie isn't good, but the comic is very good. I've read this a few times through, and I really recommend this. And those are all recent pickups for the most part. We'll get into some of my first edition copy, or not first edition copies, but copies I picked up as a kid with my own hard-earned money, my own birthday money, or whatever have you, money from working odd jobs or whatever. Deadpool Classic. So this story is this is a bunch of stories to put together, I believe, if I remember correctly. I haven't read this one in a fat minute, but there was some cool stuff that happened in this story, and I really liked it. I remember loving it because of this panel. I love this panel. I love the team up of Deadpool, Spider-Man, and Daredevil. That's like one I really love. And then also Tombstone's in this, and I really love Tombstone. And Punisher's in it, and I love Punisher. So this is a very good one. You can see this costed me about $35 when I bought it. And here's a newer one as well, the Infinity Gauntlet. Once again, if you like the MCU, you probably like this story. Heavily Endgame and everything, and Infinity War are heavily inspired by this story as well. And then I got some just single issues that I recommend. Even if they're not exactly the best comics ever, I still recommend reading even bad comics. Some bad comics can be fun. This is Teen Titans Rebirth with Damian Wayne. And then you got Kid Flash there. Not my preferred version. I like Wally. You got Garfield Logan. You've got Starfire and Raven. Obviously, Garfield Logan's Beast Boy. Probably should have mentioned that. And you could tell this is newer because it has an ad for Lego DC supervillains on the back. And yeah, it's a short issue, but it's not a bad read. I've got some Rebirth Superman. I don't read a lot of Superman, but I've been coming around to him in recent years. I haven't read this one, so I don't really know if I can recommend it, but the art's nice. See? That looks very good, actually. I just wanted to go through some comics. You got some Rebirth Flash. Also haven't read that. I don't read a lot of Rebirth, so I just got these in a pack for $5 at Five Below. So you got Rebirth Batman. You can see there's Jim Gordon. You got the bat symbol. You obviously got Batman. I don't know if this is probably Bruce, right? Because that's Duke Thomas, right? I think that's Duke Thomas, which is one of the newer Robins. Now he's known as the Signal, which is a terrible name, but the costume's pretty dope. And then these are mine, some more of mine from my childhood that I picked up as a kid. And I actually got them for Christmas. My mom got them for me, so I guess I didn't pick them up. I might have picked up a couple of these, but these are all of the run of not all of it, I don't think, but a majority of the run of the Spider-Man Deadpool team up, and I really loved this book. I used to read it all the time. There we go. And this was my favorite one because Deadpool's hitting on Jane Foster Thor this whole one, and I really like this. And then, yeah, this is where Spidey dies, I believe. Oh, yeah, and then I have a Rebirth Harley Quinn. I don't read a lot of Harley Quinn, but this is a really good book. It's water damaged, as you can probably tell. My dad left these out in the rain when we were moving one time. I never forgave him for that, on top of other things, but that was also a major deal for me. But this is a very good book. Very, very good. At least I remember it being very good. You can see these are well loved. And then we have some of my grandfather's old comics that he left to me when he passed. We've got this copy of Wolverine, which I love this artwork. This is some good artwork. You can see it's him battling Apocalypse. And I believe he's in the Savage Lands in this, so maybe Kazar's in this. I haven't read this one. I kind of forgot about this. That I had this. I bet Kazar and Zabu and Shaun of the She-Devil are in this. Maybe not. Maybe it's just a caveman thing. Maybe he went back in time. I haven't read this. This might be a read that I pick up. Thunderbolts. My favorite run on the Thunderbolts. I like... Well, it's not my favorite run, but it's one of my favorite... my favorite team is Punisher, Red Hulk, Elektra, Deadpool, and Agent Venom. Sorry, I was drawing a blank. So, yeah. But this is that run. This is just... they're all Venomized. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. And I picked that up with my own money. I bought X-Force, some Deadpool versus X-Force with my own money back in the day. Mostly because I really just like this. I really love this cover art. I'm sorry, I couldn't think of the word. Because he's playing with them like they're action figures. So I always thought that was pretty cool. And then I have this Ant-Man. And I always like this cover because I'm a sucker for Taskmaster. And Taskmaster is just dope as hell. So, yeah. And then we'll get into some non-Marvel stuff, so Marvel or DC. So I also recommend reading some manga. You know, there's some good manga out there. This is the first manga I've ever owned. I own the whole series, and it's because it's the first anime that got me into anime. Really, the anime for this got me into anime. So I really love it. And it holds a special place in my heart. And there's some good manga out there. This one's probably not for everybody because it's very fan servicey. And I will admit that gets annoying for me too. But I just like the characters and I like the art. So, and then, you know, even comic strips are valid. I have some old Garfield. I had more, but I don't know what happened to all of those. I'm sure some of them got lost in a move and stuff. And then I had some Calvin and Hobbes, but that stuff is gone as well. But this is also very valid. You got some Red Sonja. You know, she needs some loving too. Let's see. I've got... So, one of my favorite comics of all time. Let's just do that one. Show off that. So, The Walking Dead. Yes, there are some issues with it, you know. The writing can be a little ham-fisted. There can be some not so savory parts in the book, but it's very, very good in my opinion. And this is Robert Kirkman's best work. Don't get me wrong, I like the Invincible comic, but the Walking Dead comic is just built different. This is Compendium 2. I actually have all 4 compendiums, and the other ones are not very holding up. That's why I chose this one. The other ones have like a ripped off cover and stuff. They're so old and so well loved. I've read them so many times. I read the first one probably like 12 times already. I need to finish off the last 2. And then here's another that my grandfather had. It's actually, this was obviously the McFarlane #1. So this is his copy that he had from back in the day, I believe, back in the 90s. And it's still in pretty good condition. The cover is not really the slip cover isn't, but everything else about it is pretty in well conditioned. And then back to some Robert Kirkman. I also recommend, this one isn't Robert Kirkman, but I recommend his run on this, Marvel Zombies. It's a very good book, and his run is incredible. I haven't read this run. I just picked it up because I like the cover, but it's pretty cool. You can see Howard the Duck's on there, so that's why I picked it up. I love Howard. And then in my opinion, the definitive run on Daredevil, The Man Without Fear by Miller, you know, Frank Miller, and Romita Jr. So, this is the definitive run. No joke. And then I just have, like, another compendium, like, book. This has, like, some of the very first issues of Spider-Man, you know. I picked this up, actually, before the Amazing Spider-Man came out, and I loved the Amazing Spider-Man, so I'm glad I picked this up. Still an amazing costume. I don't care what anyone says. And then we got, you know, the Spider-Verse prelude before the movies. This was the Spider-Verse. This was heavily inspired by the games, you know, Edge of Time, I believe, and Shattered Dimensions. It was heavily inspired by those. So this is a pretty okay read. It's not the best, I will be honest, but the idea's there. And the cover art is freaking incredible. And then I got some more Deadpool, you know. I was a huge Deadpool fan. I still love Deadpool. And I really like this book, Evil Deadpool. I don't know. It's just a fun read. It's like, basically, it's from all of the body parts he's lost over the years. They merge together and they form an evil Deadpool. And then he fights him. It's pretty cool. I hope we get a Marvel Legends of Evil Deadpool one day, because I just love this look of him. He's so cool. And then finally, probably my favorite run of Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, I loved Iron Man's dynamic with the team. I love the designs for the characters in this era, especially Groot. And I picked this up leading up to the Guardians movie, I believe. I might have picked this up well before, actually. Let's see. When did this come out? Does it say? Does it have a copyright? I might have picked this up in 2013. Maybe. It's written by Brian Michael Bendis. He's hit or miss, but he's got some good stuff. And then illustrated by Steve McNiven and Sarah Pitchell. I do recognize Steve McNiven's name, but not Sarah Pichelli. So, I really like this book. I've read this a few times. I was one of those nerds that liked the Guardians before the MCU, so. And then they had an introduction of Angela. That's pretty cool. I didn't know Angela was still making her rounds in Marvel, like modern Marvel. That's pretty dope. But yeah, I always liked the design of Tony's armor in this. This is a very good read. So yeah, I recommend just picking up some comics this week. It's really the week, but you know what I mean. If you can't do it during the week, do it during the weekend. I recommend picking up some comics, watching some comic book movies, and sending your love to everyone. You know, being there for people, because you never know. You could always miss somebody. You never know. I also have this wanted poster of the Punisher from my grandpa, which is pretty dope. And yeah, comics have been a big part of my life, and I'm assuming if you're watching videos about Marvel Legends and like stuff like that I review, comics are probably a pretty big part of your life too, or at least some things nerdy, you know, at least the MCU or maybe the animated shows, something. You know, I'm sure there's things in your life that you care about, and so send love to people. Make sure you're there for people, and I hope people are there for you. I also have the new Black Panther. This is pretty new, I believe. It was okay. It was an okay read. I didn't mind it. You know, you've got him doing some cool shit, so that's pretty dope. And then you got some. This was the introduction of the Black Panther, I believe. This is the introduction panel of the Black Panther, I think. Because he was introduced in a Fantastic Four comic. So, yeah, like I said, just read some comics, have some fun. Be there for people. And rest in peace to everyone we've lost over the way. I did pick up some more action figures that I will probably review. I don't know when, if at all. I hope I do, but I've been dealing with some stuff on top of also then getting the news of a very important figure in the community passing, you know, so we'll see. But I did pick up some new Marvel Legends. I got the West Coast Avengers, Scarlet Witch, and then I have the X-Men 97 Magneto. This figure's not great, but I need a Magneto, and I don't want to cough up $100 for a Mafex because Mafex scare me to play with. I want a figure I can play with. I'll probably pick up the Mezco over the Mafex if I'm being honest. And then I also picked up this little guy. he's pretty cool. Spoiler alert. So, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you around. I've also got a couple other figures like Toad and Avalanche. You know, I want to fill out my Brotherhood. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you around, and be safe out there. Take care of each other. Take care of yourself. And be safe. Bye.